Hi, I'm Joe Ellison, and I'm back to read another excerpt, the seventh, from the second of my Snarkey Putts Paranormal Attorneys-at-Law stories, The Case of the Ghastly Ghostwriter. In this excerpt, we come across a little domestic scene as R. Andrew Putts, our lawyer hero, soaps up in the tub while he tries to explain the progress of the case to his long-suffering wife, Maureen. Here we go. Maury, Putts took her hand and put it as gently as he could. Have some respect. Professor Vaughn was murdered. Murdered? She gulped. Yes, a few years after I graduated. Maureen bit her first knuckle. You saw his ghost? You talked to him? Putts swallowed. I did. How could you stand it? Putts patted his wife's hand. Keep calm. While I was talking to him, I didn't know who he was. He looked pretty real. But he was the prof. He told me, well, he told me a lot of things, but he told me, or he let me know, that on the day he was murdered, he had an appointment with a certain T.B. Maureen folded her hands in her lap. And you think this T.B. killed him? Putts nodded. That's what I think. Oh, Andy, this is ridiculous. Even if everything you say happened, what's it got to do with the price of fish? Why is he telling you? What can you do about it? You're not involved in some cold case murder investigation. At most, you're trying to find out if anybody copied the dame's books. That's so, Putts acknowledged. He considered her point, for as long as it took a drop of water to drip from the top of his high forehead to the tip of his nose. Upon its arrival, he came to the conclusion that he'd better show his wife some kind of connection. Maybe it's a coincidence. But T.B. are the initials of Thurston Bigelow, the dame's writing coach. Maureen sighed. T.B. must be the initials of millions of people. It doesn't mean anything. Putts rubbed soap on his arms. He'd made no impression on her at all. He shifted gears. There's something else. As far as I can tell, no one actually copied the dame's books. Glynis Alden and the Meningers and the rest of them want to protect their ideas, but copyright protection doesn't extend to ideas. That's the law, as it stands now. That's the end of it, then. Maureen slapped her knees and stood up. The old gals are out of luck. You can't do anything about it. But there's another coincidence, Putts protested. The professor had a theory. He thought you could extend copyright protection to ideas if the infringer was a mind reader. He was doing research on ESP to prove his theory had real-world applications when he was murdered. Maureen stepped to the door, turned around, turned back to the door, and turned around again. I wish somebody would read your mind so they could tell you where you lost it. This is getting plain silly. Mind reading's a trick. Nobody can really read minds. She reached for the doorknob. Wait, Putts called. There's more. There's always more. Maureen took her hand from the doorknob and stuck it against her hip. What is it? There's a ghostwriter involved somehow. Andy, Maureen reached for the knob again. I've got to go. Cindy's waiting for me. But nothing. Maureen left the door ajar, crossed her arms, and stepped toward the tub. You know what would wrap this whole thing up for you, Andy? What would do it is if Bigelow killed the professor over some copyright theory, and the professor haunted him, and he's reading the dames' minds to steal their ideas, and the professor's calling you in to stop him. Isn't that what you want, Andy? Another weird case for Snarkey Putts? Woo-hoo! It's not like that, Putts pleaded. I haven't told you everything. I'm sure you haven't. She tossed the words over her shoulder as she swung the door open. But it doesn't matter. You know why? She put her forefinger to her temple. Read my mind, Andy. You know what it says, do you? He responded with a sullen what? It says, no man alive can read minds. You know what else it says? What? He repeated. It says, dry yourself off, go downstairs, and eat your dinner while it's still warm. Cindy and I are going. She slammed the door behind her. And that's it for this Snarkey Putts excerpt. If you want to hear other excerpts, click on one of the boxes around me. If you want to see my other books, or if you want to visit my Amazon author page or my website, click on the links in the description section below. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.